So the league is over, and the playoffs are fast approaching. So I thought it would be fun to do a playoff bracket and talk about our predictions. As we know, the top 8 teams are paired up, 1 versus 8 and so on. So that gives us the following matchups. Belfast versus Glasgow. Guildford versus Nottingham. Sheffield versus Manchester. Cardiff versus Coventry. They will each play 2 games, with an aggregate score line. The winners move on to playoff weekend. So let's talk about our first series matchup. The Belfast Giants versus the Glasgow Clan. It's been a disappointing year for the Purple Army. And so far this year, the 8 times these teams have met, the Giants have a full sweep with 8 wins. Not to mention the Irish Giants outscored the men in purple a whopping 31 goals to 9. I cannot see any outcome other than the Giants moving forward here. But I always hope for maximum chaos, so let's see. Now let's talk about our second matchup between the Guildford Flames and the Nottingham Panthers. So, it's been a real contrast of seasons here. The Flames have done something we didn't expect this year. They have been fantastic. And competed for the league title right up to the end. Paul Dixon has done great things with this team. And I like their mix of talent and toughness. Compare that to the Panthers this season, which has been a total car crash. Surprisingly, they actually have an okay record against the Flames this year. In 6 meetings, the Flames have taken 4 wins, and the Panther won 2. However, 4 of those games required overtime or the shootout to settle. And in terms of goal differential, which does matter in an aggregate score line through 2 games, the Flames put up 21 goals, compared to the Panthers' 18. Now something else to note, the Panthers have virtually no healthy defensemen. They dressed 3 forwards as blue liners in their last game. I am not sure if they will get some guys back ahead of the playoffs, but it is worth noting. But call me crazy, I'm actually going to take the Panthers here. This could be the coldest take ever, and I look stupid pretty quick. But I just think when you reach the playoffs, everything resets. And the Panthers can look at this as an opportunity to finish this season on a high. And to salvage something for the wreckage of this year. The Flames have been battling all year for the league title, to just miss out right at the end. Can they regroup in time? I'm going to risk it here, and say the Panthers could cause an upset. Okay, let's talk about our third series. This one between the Sheffield Steelers and the Manchester Storm. This should be a great series, between local rivals. The Storm have had a decent year, placing 6th in the standings. But I do wonder, have they taken a step forward? Or is it simply because Nottingham and Glasgow took such large steps back? This is when we find out. The Steelers have had a good year, but will be disappointed not to have challenged for that league title. In 10 meetings so far this year, the Steelers have won 7, and lost 3 games to the Storm. With a goal differential of 43 for the Steelers, and 27 for the Storm. I could see this being a great series, but I do have the Steelers taking this one. I think they have a lot to prove now, and their scoring troubles at times have not held them back against Manchester. With an impressive 4.3 goals per game. Now this last matchup is the one I am most looking forward to. The Cardiff Devils versus the Coventry Blaze. This year, these teams have been almost equal. In 10 games they split the series 5 wins each. 4 of those 10 games needed overtime to settle. In terms of goal differential, it's 25 goals for Cardiff, and 30 for Coventry. So the Blaze actually the top scorers in this series. The Blaze have had a fantastic year, and came only 3 points back of Cardiff. And I really like the build of this team. They have found goals and production throughout the lineup. They have always been able to dress a good top line or top 6. But I have felt they struggled getting quality results from players lower in the lineup, but this year that isn't the case. They finally have that depth, and you need those third line guys to find those big goals in the playoffs. I'm actually going to take the Blaze in this one. I just think Danny Stewart can deploy his team well against the Welsh side. And this could be a bad take, but I have a good feeling about them. I also have goalie concerns. Will Bones start for the Devils? He has had a good season, but I found at times he let some soft goals past. This will be a great battle. So moving on to round 2. In the first semi-final matchup in my bracket, I have the Giants taking on the Panthers. And again, despite the Panthers' struggles this year, they actually have a fairly even record. Playing 8 times this season, the Giants take 5 wins, and the Panthers take 3. No need to talk aggregate goals anymore, as we are on to just 1-game eliminations. To me, the Giants are just such a powerhouse, and in my opinion they will really want to end on a bang this season. Now they are officially a dynasty. Is it time Keefe moves on? We know he has been looking at North America. With his brother the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Is it time to look at the American Hockey League for Keefe? I think the Giants could cruise through this one, and move to the finals. They are just too good, and can beat you with scoring, with defense, with speed, skill and all in between. And when it comes to those big games, Tyler Beskoroany becomes George Vezina himself. Then we have the Sheffield Steelers taking on the Coventry Blaze. Which again would be a great matchup. In 6 games this season, they have split the series, 3 wins each. With 3 of those games going to extra time. This could be a great game, a battle of the goaltenders. Matt Greenfield versus Paavo Holsa. For me, I see the Steelers taking this one. I think Greenfield shows up in those big moments, and the depth the Steelers have could prove to be too much for the Blaze. And that leaves us with the Giants versus Steelers in the playoff final. 2 of the biggest teams in UK hockey. But this matchup really has not suited the Steelers this season. In 6 meetings this year, the Giants have won 5 games. The Steelers with just 1 win, and that was a close 2-1 game back in November. The Steelers have really struggled to find goals against this team, being shut out twice. And getting just 9 goals past them in 6 games is concerning. I think with that blue line, and Greenfield between the pipes they can hold the fort. But my worry is, do they have that elite gamebreaker, who can get a couple past Besko? My answer is no, and I have the Giants taking their playoff title. To the surprise of absolutely nobody. They have been such an elite team in all aspects of the game. I think no matter who they face, they are going to win. But what's your thoughts? Leave your brackets in the comments below. Thanks for watching, take care.